And we're back on the Chad Hasty Show live from Washington, D.C. Fair's 13th annual Hold Their Feet to the Fire Immigration Radio Row event. And joining us here in Washington, D.C., Congressman Jodey Arrington. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chad. Good to see you here in the swamp, and I'm glad you have your waders on. I hope they're alligator-proof.
They are. We also got our shots before we came up here just to make sure we are immune immune to everything. But no, it's been a great time. We appreciate you and your staff for taking some time yesterday and showing us around the Capitol. It was an honor. It was very, very cool.
You bet. No, we have a beautiful Capitol, and we capture a lot of our amazing history, and we have monuments and memorials to great men and women, leaders of our country, and especially to those 1%ers of every generation that put the uniform on and fight and even die for these freedoms that we enjoy and for this greatest experiment in liberty and democracy ever known to man. So it's awe-inspiring. I hope you feel that way.
Yeah.
I know the politics is very swampy, but all you have to do is take a walk down the mall and look at those monuments and those memorials and know that this country is worth fighting for. And I think we have a president that has about as much fight as any commander-in-chief as I've ever seen in my lifetime. And so I'm awfully proud to serve alongside of him and hopefully make good on the promises that we all made, especially on issues of national security and public safety. I think that's the first job of the government, and that's why border security has always been at the top of my list, as you know.
Absolutely. And of course, there's like one other issue, a small issue that's been in the news that I'll get to a little bit later on with you. But let's talk illegal immigration.
Traffic light cameras or something?
Yeah,
is that what you want to talk about?
That's right. Scooters in the district.
Yeah. Keep them off the sidewalk, man.
That's right. I know this president and you are still concentrating on border security. It seems like it's faded from the news. It's as far as a big push right now. Is that true, or is there still a push being made?
Well, I filed legislation recently. I'm under no illusion that in a Democrat-controlled House that we're going to get anywhere. But I think it's important that we continue to push to keep the narrative before the American people and hold the Democrats accountable for policies like their recent bill, one of the first of their top 10 priorities, which was amnesty for 3 million illegal immigrants. Instead of doing anything to provide our Border Patrol agents the tools and resources they need, instead of supporting the president on physical barriers like walls and fences, instead of helping us build out the detention facility and other infrastructure where we know there's major overcrowdedness, and it's forcing us to catch and release folks into the interior of our country. So I think it's important we keep talking about it because it's a matter of the sovereignty of this country, rule of law, public safety, and a major cost because it's $100 billion. Now, here's the good news. Even though Congress isn't doing much because Democrats are not really for solving this, even though they've said that, I think you saw where most, if not every presidential candidate on the Democrat side raised their hand and said, decriminalize illegal border crossings. And, oh, by the way, give them free health care when they come over, as if we don't have enough magnets that draw people here. Here's the good news. We have a president that is hell-bent and just relentlessly committed to doing everything in his power to stop it. In fact, I would argue with the tariff negotiation over the heads of the Mexican officials, and the Mexican officials subsequently deploying 15,000 troops to the south, I think, 10,000 to the north, to secure their borders so that we stop the Central and South American folks from coming into our country. I'd say he's done more to get the Mexican government to help on this front than the United States Congress. Mm-hmm. After that action taken by Mexico as a result of this president's leadership, we've seen a reduction of over 40% in illegal crossings. So whether it's that or it's the third country policy, or it's the expedited deportation of the folks who've been here for 2 years or less and already had due process, The president is taking every action he can constitutionally. The courts have tried to stop him. They've been overturned now twice on some of these executive orders. And so take heart, my friends back home. The president is making a difference. 60% drop in illegal crossings since May. And we get the gavel away from Pelosi, and we give the president another shot with Republican support, then hopefully we can make even more progress.
Visiting with Congressman Jodey Arrington here in Washington, D.C.